Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Healing Place Break the Pain Cycle. I am Helen Chinlu. I am a certified reflexologist and a certified energy medicine practitioner. I just want to thank you for attending these live chats with me. I am so pleased that we've been together now for 4 weeks. And in this fourth week, we've been talking about recognizing our pain and how to break the cycle. For those people who have missed the last 3 episodes, week number 1 was we talked about how we condition ourselves to move pain, how we condition ourselves to ignore pain. Second week, we talked about how to move trapped pain with energy medicine. And third week, last week, how to ease pain by uniting the mind, body, and spirit. So one of the funny things people have been asking me, Helen, why are you constantly looking up and looking to the left? Well, you know what? I'm conversing with God. He's also downloading all this information to me, but I have notes all around the room because I did not want to sound like I'm babbling because, I want to share some important information that could be helpful to you. So anyways, I welcome you to this 4th episode, and this will be the last of this live chat series. One of the things that I would love to, and just let me say, I want to thank everybody who has participated. These last 3 chats have reached more than 20,000 people. I've had so many people who commented, shared, and pasted on their wall. Hi, Robin. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for joining me. And I'm just so pleased that these topics of interest and it's getting people thinking about their pain and what they could do about it. Anyways, yesterday, let me start off with something that came across to me that was really interesting. Yesterday, I was watching one of my favorite shows, Sunday morning, something that I'm glued to watch for the last, I would say, probably 25 to 30 years. And they had a really interesting episode on why do placebo work, placebo pills. And who's conducting this study? Harvard University and Beth Israel. So 60% of the people that is participating in this study have found placebos to help them. And even though there's no medication in the placebo, it worked for them, and they can't explain why. So as they're trying to examine why it could possibly be helpful, they figure, well, it probably has something to do with rituals. Ritual of making an appointment, going to see a doctor, and finally given a prescription. Because in our minds, in our heads, we are so entrenched on what medicine should look like that nobody has taught us that we can go within ourselves and to really activate self-healing, that we all have this knowledge within us. So I was thinking when I was watching that show, it brought me back when I was a kid. I remember when I did not want to go to school because I had to take a test, or there's something going in school that I didn't want to participate. I remember I could always make myself sick. I could make myself have a fever. So whenever it was inconvenient to go be somewhere, I could make myself physically sick. And then I want you to think about, what have you done to prevent you from, I would say, moving ahead in your life because it was uncomfortable and afraid of, especially when you're doing something for the first time. And why do we not acknowledge pain? Well, first of all, for many people, there is a lot of shame around sick people. Sick people are usually viewed as complainers or hypochondriac. And this goes back again, how were we conditioned to process pain? And what did our parents teach us, or our teachers, or our church leaders, what did they teach us about pain? Usually they tell you to suck it up. And so every time we suck up pain and not acknowledge it, the pain has to go somewhere. As I mentioned in my first live chat, that we stack pain on top of each other. And I am really sad that we have not been able to break up a lot of those pain. So depending on how the pain gets trapped in your body, you're either leaking out energy or you have so much energy in you that the body does not know what to do. Because ideally, energy is supposed to flow pretty much like, hopefully, a river on a good day, not like these storms that's been coming up lately. But your energy, positive energy, should flow very smoothly through your body. So what happens when pain and discomfort becomes inconvenience to us? Most of the time, pain, I would consider it a distraction, especially when we become really uncomfortable with new situations. Perhaps it could be a new job, something's going on in a family. And what happens a lot of time when we become really uncertain about the situation, that's when pain begins. In fact, today, I was talking to a client who is undergoing breast cancer today, just recently breast cancer, and she was telling me the feeling that she's having, that she's experiencing right now, it's the same feeling she had 3 years ago when she was in the process of the divorce, and the energy that she's feeling in her breast is a feeling of be afraid, fear, because she does not know what to expect. And back then, when she had both her breasts removed, she had breast implants like many women do today. So in the next month or so, she's planning to take the implant out of her breast. And she's really worried about what she might find with the implants once they are removed. You know, it could be infection, it could be mold, it could be, she's afraid that the silicone has leaked out in her body. So she has considerable amount of fears that she could feel palpitations. So one of the things that we started to talk about is don't relinquish into the fear, but make fear your friend. So a lot of times when we have fears or pain, let me just define some of the situation. So when perhaps if you're an angry person and you don't even know why you're particularly angry, more times than not, you're in pain. It could be physical pain or it could be emotional pain, but it's pain that you may not even be aware of. In fact, a personal story of mine, when I was being interviewed for energy medicine school back in 2006, the person who interviewed me at the time said, we were just talking back and forth, and I was really defensive because I didn't want someone to tell me what to do. I didn't want someone to point out my crap. And he said to me at the time, Helen, you were so angry, you don't even know why you are angry. So I went home that day, and I think for the next week or two, I really thought about what he said, and I had to go inside of myself to find out why I was angry. And because I wanted to be proactive, I made a personal decision that I was going to go through 3 years of energy medicine school. And it was a school where you could renew every single year. So if you decide not to go through all 3 years, that would have been fine. But my energy, I am what I call a rule keeper. So that means once I start a project, I can't just say, you know what, I'm going to give up. So I'm going to go in there and just say, well, let's call it a day. So each year of energy medicine school, we went into deeper into understanding who we are. It's really a lot of it's not just learning how to do healing work, but it's also learning who are you. And when I went 10 years ago to school, I had no idea who I was, but I knew I was in a lot of pain. Most of it was emotional, and some of it translated into physical pain. So it took me probably 10 years to figure out on this journey, where am I, where have I been, and I have a really good understanding where I am going today. And this is something that we all are capable of doing. We all could break our pain cycle. So when you're angry, you are in pain. When you're sad, you don't know how to deal with the pain, so it just sits within you. If you're depressed, what you're trying to do is negotiate with the pain, or you're trying to avoid it or deny it. So you're trying to figure out what is pain doing to you and how do you make it go away. So one of the things that I have learned is acknowledge the pain, and this is where true healing begins. Because pain can be your friend. It forces you to do so much with where you are going, but you have to acknowledge the pain and learn what is the lesson that's behind it. So when I feel pain, I know this is a sign that my spirit is awakening and my vibration is being elevated to the next level. Pain could be, again, a friend, and pain is also a transformer if you're willing to do the work. And once you understand what pain wants to teach you, you know what? You're no longer influenced by your limited beliefs and also what other people have to say. You have this opportunity to relinquish judgment of yourself. People think, I'm in pain. That must mean that there are life lessons that I have not learned. Well, that's not true. It's not, pain is not there to tell you why you suck in 10,000 ways unless you choose to do this. But what happens is when you choose not to suffer and also not choose not to suffer and not to be overwhelmed, you could understand what pain is trying to teach you. Because where pain comes from more times than not is we're so afraid of the unknown. Who doesn't want to be comfortable? Who doesn't want to feel like they want to be seen, be heard? But it takes so much courage to stand out because we're so afraid of being judged, ridiculed, and most importantly, the thing that I've noticed with a lot of people, who are you to be great? In my opinion, who are you not to be great? So by learning who you are, learning to understand your pain and overriding your pain, this is when transformation begins within you. I hope this makes a lot of sense because it sure has made sense to me. So one of my pain points, which I've mentioned in one of my live chats lately, is I've been suffering from eczema right there. It's starting to heal. And yes, I've been oiling it and giving it vitamin E, so I'm doing all kinds of things to help it to heal. But one of the things that I finally learned, why is this coming? As I mentioned earlier, I am a thinker, so I use my third eye or my sixth chakra quite a bit in the work that I do. And a lot of things that I have intuition about comes from my third eye. So first thing I think of, I'm blowing out my sixth chakra. But what it is a lot of it is the pain that I feel. I'm doing something that's really brand new, plus the uncertainty, the direction that I'm going. Plus, here I am teaching these classes because relatively I'm a pretty quiet person, even though the people on here don't quite believe that, but I really am. I'm very quiet if I'm not in my office situation and talking like this. But So the pain has taught me to find courage to speak and to share knowledge, and plus to teach you that we all have this ability to self-heal. So I have decided to accept my evolution of growth, which is stretching me. And once I've accepted that, I've noticed the pain has started to decrease and my eczema is starting to heal. So if you could see pain as an opportunity, and it really forces you to look at your current situation and to make judgment, and not judgment, adjustment. Sorry about that, enough with the judgment already. But to make adjustment in your life. And what steps do you want to take to grow into who you are? So one of the biggest pains, I'm going to share another personal note. When I started my business back in 2006, I was in so much pain from my first chakra. First chakra is about my primitive needs. So it's my home, my work, my family, money, abundance, health, all of those things that make us who we are. And I just remember how absolutely terrified I was to start a business. The business was the healing place. At the time, nobody knew what reflexology was. Very few people knew what Reiki, energy medicine. Oh, that sounds really odd. And I remember having a meltdown every day for 2 whole years. Meltdown. My poor husband had to listen to me whine and groan. But I learned from those experiences. I mean, in the many times that I wanted to quit, my spirit wouldn't allow me to quit because I knew there was a gift that I had outside of myself and I wanted to share, because I've seen miracles, and I still see miracles today with everybody who has come to work with me, that they are so much more than what they believe that they are. But learning to eliminate judgment and this feeling of inadequacy is something that we all work on every single day. So the excuse, we always make excuse, we judge our pain. The pain is used to stop us from moving ahead. So, I think about people who make excuses all the time why they can't. And in my last job, I have a buddy who, she's an incredible, I would say she's autistic, she has so many skills, and she wants to leave the job. I know she could have done better, but her favorite expression at the time was, and still is, I'd rather live with the devil I know than the devil that I don't know. And I think to myself, isn't that sad? Because she's so afraid of rejection, she's never going to learn what she's capable of. Think about it. Think about the things that you've done to stop yourself from moving ahead in your life, all because you have this pain, this fear, this judgment, this anxiety that you can't move ahead. Don't give yourself a break. So anyways, we all set ourselves to fail in many ways, to sabotage ourselves. But if you choose, you can break the cycle and use pain as a friend instead of the enemy. Use it as the energy that will propel you to move into your next part of your evolution. So anyways, so I want you to make this acknowledgement. So take the time to meet and talk to your pain, because your pain will talk to you if you're willing to listen in. But you have to give yourself the chance and declare that you are much better than this, that you're a divine being. There's nobody like you, and you are not your pain. So I want you to think about, come back to the light, to your personal light, because we have a light of God that's inside of us. And Come back to your light. Come back to your faith. Let go of judgment. Let go of the uncomfortable. Surrender and come back to faith. And surrendering is about being okay with where you are in this moment without any judgment. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not the best you can be. Only you could tell yourself. And once you give in and say, pain, show me what I need to learn now, and really surrender into it, you will grow. So that's my advice for you today. Be the very best you can, because you are not your pain. I hope so much that you've enjoyed this. I want to come into your home and teach you more things. And let me ask you, for you to do me a favor. Can you do me the honor to comment what you've liked about the series, the 4-part series? Even if you only saw one, that's fine. What did you take away? What would you like to learn more about? I'd be willing to come back and teach you other classes. And I'm in the process of putting together these mini private classes that will teach more everything about energy. Who are you? What can you be? Which direction can you go? Because the only person that stops you really is just you. Don't be afraid. Give it a try. And again, I think about what I've done in this past 10 years. Oh, best advice I gave somebody one time about pain and being afraid. And this is something that she's trying out. She's gone into the holistic business. And she said to me, Helen, would I ever stop being afraid? And I said, no. You're never going to stop being afraid, because if you stop being afraid, you're not growing. You're really slowly dying, which is true. You're just slowly dying. You're just existing. And the best advice I gave her is never run out of toilet paper, because you're going to need it on your journey. Be well, and I hope to talk to you really soon. Bye-bye.